I think with all of our players, Mary Kay, there's things that we can do better, and there's some good moments out there, but that's what our job as coaches.
And so you didn't get this man a fighting chance to compete. He went into a gunfight with 2 knives. He gonna lose that every time.
I'm outraged, I'm sickened, and I'm saddened. By the way, Shedeur continues to be treated in the National Football League, now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
The fans gonna be saying, Shedeur our quarterback. Shedeur should be our starter. Shedeur should be the guy that starts game 1, week 1. Look what he did. They didn't want that to happen. And I don't know what's going on with Kevin Stefanski. It's almost as if, and I don't even want to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's like he don't want Shedeur to do, like when he played well the first game, he was so off-putting, like, oh yeah, well, we'll see what happens next. Like, he should, he played great, man. He exceeded our expectations. He didn't say none of that. And
Right.
so to me, it's as if they want him to fail so they can justify doing what they want to do.
Your opening day starter is at quarterback. Will you also set the pecking order following, meaning quarterback 2, 3, and 4, or will there be a competition right through Cincinnati week?
Yeah, well, I'll talk to we'll have the team in tomorrow, so I'll be able to talk through a bunch of different things with our players. But in terms of, where people are, first string, second string, those type of things, not really.
We see it clear as day, but they just on it. Oh, he played bad. He's ass. He sucked. He's a 5th rounder. He's not that good. Well, of course, yes, based on what you saw today. But we're trying to tell you why it looked that way.
When they're at practice, Shedeur Sanders is not their priority. When he is at practice, he was staying hours beforehand, leaving hours later.
What if I told you that a head coach in the NFL might be deliberately sabotaging his own rookie quarterback? That sounds insane, right? But after watching what happened to Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland's latest preseason game, former NFL players, analysts, and thousands of fans are asking one explosive question: is Kevin Stefanski intentionally setting up Shedeur Sanders to fail? The evidence is mounting, the criticism is brutal, and the calls for Stefanski's firing are getting louder by the hour. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why this controversy could destroy Stefanski's career and change the entire trajectory of the Cleveland Browns. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about integrity, fairness, and whether a coach's personal bias can poison an entire organization. I'm absolutely sickened by what I witnessed in that preseason game, and I'm not alone. When a rookie quarterback gets thrown into what can only be described as a setup for failure, we have to ask the hard questions. Shedeur Sanders, the highly touted quarterback who should be getting every opportunity to prove himself, instead found himself in what former Browns player T.J. Hutchinson called a gunfight with 2 knives. Today, we're diving deep into the mounting evidence that suggests Kevin Stefanski has a personal vendetta against Shedeur Sanders. We'll examine the shocking statements from former NFL players, analyze the pattern of neglect that's been building since day one, and reveal why this controversy is about to explode into the biggest story surrounding the Cleveland Browns this season. We'll cover 3 critical points. First, the damning testimony from former players who are calling out Stefanski's bias. Second, the systematic way Shedeur has been set up to fail from his very first snap. And third, why this controversy is now threatening Stefanski's job and the Browns' entire season. Trust me, what you're about to hear will change how you view this entire situation. The most explosive revelation in this entire controversy came from T.J. Houshmandzadeh, a former Browns player who didn't just criticize Stefanski, he completely destroyed him. And when I say destroyed, I mean TJ pulled no punches in exposing what he believes is a deliberate campaign to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. Here's what makes TJ's testimony so powerful. He's been inside the Brown system. He knows how things work, he understands the culture, and he's never seen anything like what's happening to Shedeur. TJ stated outright that in his entire experience with the Browns, There has never been a case where a coach actively didn't want his player to succeed. Never! But with Stefanski and Shedeur, it's different. It's personal. It's almost as if he doesn't want Shedeur to do well, TJ said, and those words should send chills down every Browns fan's spine. Think about what that means. We're talking about a head coach who might be more interested in proving he was right about a player than actually helping that player succeed. That's not coaching, that's sabotage. But TJ didn't stop there. He went deeper, explaining how this pattern started from the very beginning. Remember Shedeur's first preseason game? The kid played flawlessly. He was accurate, composed, and showed exactly why he was drafted. Any normal coach would have been excited, would have praised the performance, would have built on that momentum. But what did Stefanski do? He gave vague, dismissive comments about developing all quarterbacks and refused to acknowledge what everyone else could see, that Shedeur had exceeded expectations. TJ's analysis of that moment was brutal. When he played well the first game, he was so off-putting. Like, oh yeah, well, you know, we'll see what happens next. Like he should have said, oh, he played great, man. He exceeded our expectations. He didn't say none of that. This isn't just about one bad game or poor coaching decisions. This is about a systematic pattern of undermining a young player's confidence and opportunities. TJ believes they want Shedeur to fail so they can justify doing what they planned to do all along, write him off and move on. The most damning part? TJ also called out Stefanski for not holding Dillon Gabriel accountable when Gabriel made disparaging remarks about Shedeur. In TJ's playing days, if someone had disrespected him like that, there would have been immediate consequences. But Stefanski? He stayed silent, sending a clear message about where his loyalties lie. When a former player who knows the system inside and out is willing to go public with these kinds of accusations, we have to take it seriously. TJ isn't just throwing around wild theories, he's connecting dots based on his first-hand knowledge of how the Browns operate. And what he's revealing should terrify every Browns fan who wants to see their team succeed. Now let's talk about the most infuriating part of this entire situation, how Shedeur Sanders was systematically set up to fail in that preseason game. This wasn't just poor coaching, this was borderline negligent, and multiple analysts have called it out for exactly what it was. Akasinko broke it down perfectly when he analyzed the offensive lineup Stefanski put around Shedeur. These weren't just backup players or second stringers, these were guys who, in Akasinko's words, weren't even roster worthy. Think about that for a second. You take a rookie quarterback who's already under intense scrutiny, and you surround him with players who might not even make the team. That's not evaluation, that's sabotage. Akasinko made a point that should resonate with every football fan. Even Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, would have struggled with that supporting cast. When you put any quarterback, regardless of talent level, behind a makeshift offensive line with receivers who can't get separation and running backs who can't create holes, you're asking for disaster. But that's exactly what Stefanski did to Shedeur. The setup was so obvious that Skip Bayless, who rarely holds back his opinions, was absolutely outraged. I'm sickened and I'm saddened by the way Shedeur continues to be treated, Skip said, and he called out the Browns' approach as the worst possible way to manage a player. This isn't just about one game, it's about a pattern of mismanagement that started from day one. Here's what makes this even more frustrating. Shedeur has been doing everything right off the field. Bush revealed that Shedeur was staying hours before practice, leaving hours after, putting in extra work that most rookies wouldn't even think about. This kid was grinding, showing the kind of dedication that coaches dream about in their players. But instead of rewarding that effort, instead of giving him the tools to succeed, Stefanski seemed determined to prove that his initial assessment was correct. The play calling in that preseason game was equally questionable. Instead of designing plays that would highlight Shedeur's strengths, his accuracy, his mobility, his football IQ, The offensive scheme seemed designed to expose his weaknesses. It was as if Stefanski wanted to create a highlight reel of everything that could go wrong, rather than showcasing what could go right. Stephen A. Smith saw this coming from miles away. Before the season even started, he warned that the Browns were setting up Shedeur Sanders for failure. At the time, some people thought Stephen A. was being dramatic. Now, his prediction looks prophetic. This systematic undermining of a young player's development isn't just bad coaching, it's destructive to the entire organization. When players see how management treats their teammates, it affects team chemistry, trust, and morale. The Browns aren't just failing Shedeur Sanders, they're failing themselves, their fans, and the culture they're trying to build. The backlash against Kevin Stefanski has reached a boiling point, and it's not just coming from angry fans on social media. It's coming from respected voices throughout the NFL community who are questioning whether Stefanski has lost the moral authority to lead this team. The criticism has been swift, brutal, and comprehensive. T.J. Houshmandzadeh didn't just question Stefanski's coaching decisions, he questioned his character, suggesting that Stefanski harbors a personal grudge that's affecting his professional judgment. When a former player makes those kinds of accusations publicly, it creates a crisis of confidence that extends far beyond the football field. Akasinko warned that Browns-paid critics would soon start writing off Shedeur as just a fifth-string quarterback, completely ignoring the circumstances that led to his struggles. But Akasinko's warning reveals something deeper. There's a coordinated effort to control the narrative, to make Shedeur the scapegoat rather than addressing the real problem, Stefanski's management. Skip Bayless took it even further, calling Stefanski and the Browns organization sorry ass for their treatment of Shedeur. When Skip Bayless, who's seen every kind of controversy in professional sports, is that outraged, it tells you how serious this situation has become. This isn't just about football strategy anymore, it's about basic human decency and professional integrity. The fan reaction has been equally intense. Social media is exploding with calls for Stefanski's firing, with Browns fans expressing frustration not just about the team's performance but about what they see as a fundamental betrayal of their values. These fans invested their hopes in Shedeur Sanders, and they feel like Stefanski has deliberately undermined those hopes for personal reasons. But here's what makes this situation truly dangerous for Stefanski. The criticism isn't just about one player or one game. It's about a pattern of behavior that suggests deeper problems with his leadership style. When multiple respected voices in the NFL community are questioning your integrity, when former players are suggesting you have personal vendettas against your own players, when fans are organizing campaigns for your removal, that's not a coaching controversy, that's a leadership crisis. The pressure on the Haslam family, who own the Browns, is intensifying daily. They're facing a situation where their head coach is being accused of deliberately sabotaging a player, where their fan base is in revolt, and where the national media is portraying their organization as dysfunctional. That's not sustainable for any NFL franchise. Bush's revelation that Shedeur was putting in extra work, staying late, arriving early, and still not getting fair treatment has only added fuel to the fire. It paints a picture of a dedicated young player being failed by his coaching staff, and that narrative is resonating with fans who remember their own experiences with unfair treatment. The question now isn't whether this controversy will affect Stefanski's job security, it's whether he can survive the growing tsunami of criticism. When your own former players are calling you out, when national analysts are questioning your integrity, and when your fan base is demanding change, the writing is on the wall. After examining all the evidence, the testimony from former players, the systematic setup for failure, and the growing calls for accountability, it's clear that this controversy goes far beyond football. We're witnessing a crisis of leadership that could define the Cleveland Browns for years to come. Shedeur Sanders deserves better than what he's received. He's shown dedication, professionalism, and talent, but he's been placed in situations designed for failure rather than success. The voices speaking out, T.J. Houshmandzadeh, Akasinko, Skip Bayless, Bush, and others, aren't just defending one player. They're defending the principle that every athlete deserves a fair opportunity to prove themselves. Kevin Stefanski's handling of this situation has raised serious questions about his judgment, his integrity, and his ability to lead. When multiple respected voices in the NFL community are questioning whether you're deliberately sabotaging your own players, that's not a controversy you can simply coach your way out of. The Browns organization now faces a critical decision. They can continue to support a coach whose methods are being questioned by former players and national analysts, or they can take decisive action to restore faith in their leadership. The pressure from fans, media, and the broader NFL community isn't going away. It's only going to intensify. This situation is far from over, and I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Kevin Stefanski deliberately set Shedeur Sanders up to fail, or are we looking at a series of unfortunate coaching decisions? Should the Browns administration step in and make a change, or is this controversy being blown out of proportion? More importantly, what does this say about accountability in professional sports? When coaches have this much power over young players' careers, what safeguards should be in place to ensure fairness? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and respond to as many as I can. If you found this analysis eye-opening, make sure you're subscribed because this story is developing rapidly, and I'll be covering every twist and turn. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on what could be the biggest coaching controversy of the season. And if you want to see more deep dives into the stories that matter in the NFL, check out my playlist on coaching controversies. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue following this explosive story.